Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for the Gnome Friends Honeybee Dies Add-ons assembly video. Hey, so I am going to be assembling the new Gnome Friends Honeybee die, and I'm using the new bee faces at the same time. So first, I cut out these bees in Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then the next layer was cut out of American Crafts yellow cardstock. Now watch closely because I make a mistake here. I should have started with the body. But these are things that we learn, right? So I cut the little antenna out of American Crafts black cardstock. I'm using Barely Art glue. All my die cutting today was done with my Anna Griffin Empress machine, working on a Stampin' Up pad, using reverse tweezers, all the same things that I always do. Okay, so I'm going to add on my other antenna. And this is a super cute set. I'm loving it. Remember, you can decorate all of these Gnome Friends add-ons with all the gnome add-ons. So you can give them different hats, give them different things to hold. So this was my mistake. I had to peel up the head to sort of slide the body underneath. And then I've got this other body piece that's got to slip underneath, all cut from American Crafts cardstock. And now I am using the same thing, American Crafts cardstock for the bottom part of the body. There we go. And then I will stick down that chin again. And there we have it. Okay, so I'm pulling out a Copic marker in BG10, and I'm just going to outline those white wings a little bit because I'm going to be adding vellum to them. And I thought if it shows through, that's great. Now, obviously, I probably should have put the wings on first too, but you're learning with me. So, I would say start with the wings, then the body, and then the head. Now you'll see that the wings, I'm just gluing the tip of the wing so the rest of the wing sort of free floats up. So that's what I was going for. Kind of looks like it's flying, right? So that's just some vellum. And isn't that pretty? There we go. Next, I'm going to add on this little smile. That's American Crafts black cardstock. And you can see where to put it from the little stitching lines. And I'm going to add on the little black stripes. So one goes on as bottom. And then the other two line up with the stitching lines. There we go. You can tell where they go because they perfectly fit side to side. Adding on the last little stripe. There you have it. Isn't that cute? Just making sure that everything's sticking down. Okay, so next I cut out the eyes in Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. And you can see where they go by the stitching lines. So I'm going to add those on. And there we are. And then I'll add on the pupils of the eyes, which were cut out of American Crafts black cardstock. These are really cute. They've got neat little highlights in them. I quite like these die-cut eyes. I think they're so cute. Although the stamped faces are adorable too. You can't go wrong with a stamped face. But, in a pinch, you can use die cuts. So I'm just going to get that in the right spot. And I'm just angling it so I can see what I'm doing. And there we go. Isn't he cute? Just getting rid of the extra glue. There we go. Now I'm going to add some EK Success chalk to the cheeks. And I know you can't get this chalk or the applicator anymore. I'm sorry, but it's my preferred method. There we go. And I'm going to take a Jelly Roll pen and a number 10 and add some freckles because, of course, what self-respecting bee wouldn't have some white freckles, right? And now I've got some little arms and legs. Now these are cut from Smoky Shadow cardstock from paper Trey Ink, so they're like a dark gray. And I'm just removing, how you get some little slivers on the edges. I'm just removing that with a little nail sponge. Okay, so now I'm going to add on these little arms. Remember, you can have these bees holding things, right? Which would be super cute. Dress them up for all the holidays, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to add on my little legs. So you could have this guy standing on a flower or standing on something, Or you could take the legs off and just have them flying, right? There we go. Isn't that cute? So he's adorable and he's all set. And that's an HU size card base. Okay, so next I have, okay, so for this bee, I decided to start with the wing because I learned my lesson, right? So I first cut this bee out of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I used that same BG10 marker to go around the edges of the wings. Now, you'll see that that layer, the reason why I use white is because that layer, if I'm going to use vellum, it's going to show. So for the wing. So that's why I decided to do it like that. Next, I'm going to add on my little arm behind this bee. Okay, so I'm going to add the little arms on here. So because this guy is facing to the left, I guess, I put the little arm on there. Then I'll layer his little body. So you start with the wings. Add your little arm behind if you want. Add your body. Add your next layer of the body. Everything, I'm using all the same cardstocks that I mentioned. Remember, everything will be listed underneath this video. You know, I always list all the things that I used in my assembly videos in case you want to use the same thing. But you don't have to. You can use whatever you have, right? So I'm adding on my little middle part of his body. Can't remember, what is that called? The thorax. And I'm adding in my other little arm on. Isn't that cute? Just adorable. Now I'll add my little stripes on again, the same way. Each of the bees has a set of 3 stripes that are welded together. You know, and you'll know which ones go with which because one faces one way, you know, the skinnier is at the top, the wider is at the bottom. And then the one that's facing forward, you know, has 3 that are level. There we go. Okay, so next I'm going to stamp on one of these little sentiments. Next I'm going to stamp on one of these little bee faces. Using my Misty, you're going to want to use a Misty. I would not want to freehand stamp this. That would be too difficult for me. But I'm going to line up the little face. There we go. And I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It's my favorite black ink. I love it. It is not Copic friendly, so if you use a Copic around it, you better be careful and not touch the edges. You know, because it's not a large area of coloring anyway, so I just sort of tap the marker on there to fill in my spots. So here we go. So I'm going to add on some pink cheeks with my EK Success chalk. There we go. Isn't that cute? Just so cute. Okay, I'm using a marker, a Copic marker. This is RV29. And I just tapped on the little tongue with that. Now I'm using YR24 to color in the nose. This is a Copic marker in BG15, and I'm just going to run that along that eye there. Careful not to touch the black ink. Now I'm going to grab my Sakura white jelly roll pen and a number 8, because it's a little bit thinner, and I'm going to fill in the white of the eye there. And I'm using the number 10 to add the freckles and the little eye highlights. But isn't that cute? There we go, adding some freckles, because of course your bee needs freckles. And there you have it. Isn't that adorable? Oh, he just turned out so cute. So next I'm going to add my little bee face onto my bee with some Barely Art glue. Remember, you're going to want to let that VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink dry because it will smear otherwise. And there we go. Isn't that adorable? I'm going to add the little antenna on, and that is cut from American Crafts black cardstock again. And there you have it. Now, if you are using solid white wings, you could go back and cut your bee, like the whole silhouette of the bee, out of black cardstock like I normally do. It's only because I was using vellum on those wings that I wanted to have a white layer behind. So, you know, you can use whatever you want as your base layer if you're covering it up, right? So now I am going to add, this is what it would look like with the legs. This one I'm going to leave legless just so it looks like it's flying. Okay, now I'm going to do the one that's facing to the right now. And I add that same BG10 along the wings. I'm going to add on a little vellum wing again. So you're going to start with the wing. I'm going to clamp that on. Next, we're going to put together this little bee body while it's drying. And that is that same American Crafts yellow cardstock. So easy stuff. So we will add that layer on. Now, if you wanted to, cheat, you could probably skip these two layers if you wanted and just use the body layer if you wanted to save a step. It does add something though. It gives a little bit more dimension. The stitching lines are a little deeper. I don't know. It just looks better, with all the layers. But, you could skip some layers. So now I'm going to add on my stripes, starting with the bum and then working my way along the body with these are the, I'm stuttering, with the American Crafts black cardstock. Adding that in place. There we go. I just love these little bees. These are my favorite thing from this release. The bees are adorable. I just can't get enough of them. Especially with their little faces. They're just so cute. Okay, so I'm going to stick my little bee down. There we go. I'm going to add the little body in place. There we are. And isn't that cute? I just love him. He's so cute. Now this guy, I am going to give a hat. So I'm using one of the Girl Gnome dies, like one of the hats. You could use the Boy Gnome die, it doesn't really matter. But I'm using a hat on this one just for fun. Okay, so I'm going to stamp another little face on this little bee. So this is my other bee. And same thing, using my Misty VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, using the same Copic marker colors. There we go, the BG15, YR24. There we go. So I'm just going to stamp that a couple of times. That's what a Misty is for, right? And isn't that cute? It is just the cutest little face ever. There we go. Now I'm going to add some color to this. First, I'm going to add some EK Success chalk carefully. You could use like a YR, what was I going to say? An R20. I think it's an R20 is the marker that I like to use for cheeks. Now I'm going to add in, that's the YR24 for the nose. This is that BG15 again for the eye. Remember, don't touch the black ink. It is not Copic friendly. I'm just sort of tapping it in there because I wouldn't want to color a whole image like this. It would drive me crazy. I use the Copic friendly ink when I'm really coloring. But when I'm doing something like this, I'll just tap it in if it isn't too much, if the area isn't too much. Okay, so now I am going to use a number 10 for freckles, Sakura white jelly roll pen number 10, and for the highlights in the eyes. There we go. Isn't that fun? And then I'm going to pull out my Sakura number 8 white jelly roll pen, just so I can fill in the white of the eye because it goes kind of to a point and it's too thin for me to use the number 10 in there. So I'm just going to add some white to the eyes because I hate when you have whites of the eyes and it's like yellow from, from your background color. I just hate that. It drives me crazy. So I like to fill it in and make it look white, like it's supposed to. We don't want a jaundiced bee. There we go. Okay, so now I am going to add the little bee face on my bee body with that Barely Art glue again. And isn't it, these faces kill me. They're fabulous. So I am just lining that up. There we go. And I'm going to add my little hat. So this hat was cut from the Be Happy pad from Echo Park. So I used this little fun bee pattern with flowers. I just thought it was so cute. So I'm going to line that up. And you can still see where the backing part of the antenna are sticking out past the hat. You're just going to want to add your antenna to line up with those. And isn't that the cutest thing? Oh, it's just adorable. I love these bees. So I'm going to add that last little antenna on. And then we have an adorable bee wearing a hat this time because, you know, how can you not love that? And that's on an A2 size card base. So I am going to add on some little arms. And that's that Paper Trey Ink Smoky Shadow cardstock. It's just a dark gray. And I'm going to add in those 2 arms, one behind, one in the front. There we go. And then the same thing with the legs, one tucked behind, and then one on the front. And then we have a super cute bee for all your bee cards, right? Isn't that adorable? I just love them so much. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on the Gotta Have It Now. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.